Hello and welcome. What's the big fuss around Vim and more accurately Neovim is all about? I mean, a lot of people seems to like it, and to me it always seems like any other GUI based text editor will probably serve me better and I'll have better experience than writing text in inside a terminal, and not to mention IDEs. And let's face it, most people are using Vim or Neovim are probably developers, so we all like our fancy IDEs with all the fancy stuff. And even for remote text editing, so even if, like, let's say I have a server or remote server and I control it with a terminal, I guess we have Nano, which is pretty okay. You can get along with Nano pretty easily. So what's the big fuss is all about? So yesterday I've decided to investigate and see if I can configure Neovim to be somewhat of a proper IDE. And I just want to say I never used Vim or Neovim, so yesterday I had to do the tutorial and walk through all the navigation. I mean, I tried to use it maybe once, and I really didn't like it because of the navigation, the weird navigation, and weird shortcuts, and there's so many things to learn, and the learning curve is so big that I just decided to give up. And so yesterday I decided to try again and see if I can have a proper IDE. So I'm gonna show you what I did, and then I'm gonna share with you my thought about it and why people maybe try to understand why people like it so much, and maybe share my opinion about this. So I'm gonna make a directory and we're gonna call it just test app. Let's move to this directory, and I'm gonna make 3 files. Okay, first I want to make a Git repository out of it. I'm not gonna push it to a remote repository, but I just want to make a Git repository so you can see some of the plugins that I put in Neovim that works with Git. So now we have a Git repository here, and let's make a bunch of files. So let's make index.js, and let's make other.js, and let's make text, text. Okay, so I have a bunch of files here. So for an integrated development environment, for an IDE, one of the most important things that I think an IDE should have is an integrated terminal. So for this, I'm not even using Neovim. I'm using a different app called Tmux, which I can load up like this. And Tmux allows you to basically create different panes. So basically create small windows of different terminals within the same terminal area, so it's kind of cool. So let's say I want to split the terminal into 2, so I can just go ahead and do this. Now I have a couple of terminals here, and I can move them around like so. And so now I have 2 terminals that I can move back and forth between them. And if I want to minimize one of them, so I can do just this. And so this is pretty cool. So let's open up a new Vim and see what I've got here. So nvim, and I'm gonna open this directory. So as you can see, I have this kind of tree view, and so if I select index.js, this is a file, this is an empty file of index.js in Neovim. So it seems harmless, and it seems kind of like a terminal, just a regular terminal app. So I can open up this tree right here, and it already seems like looks like an IDE. And if I'll open up the integrated terminal, the parallel terminal, I can do this. And now to me it seems like a proper IDE. So visually speaking, I think you can get the Neovim to look like an IDE, and it looks nice, it looks very clean, and I think this is maybe one big reason that a lot of people like it. It's like very clean and very focused, so you can focus just on like writing code. Another feature that I like to have, this is something that I use a lot with VS Code, is to use a fuzzy finder. So Control P and just navigate through files without using this tree on the left, right? So like if I do Control P, I can now go to like test.txt. So now in test.txt, or other. So this works really well. So exactly like in VS Code. So I like it. So you see these stars here, so they're actually the Git status. So stars meaning that these are new files. So if I go to terminal and do like git add, and let's add everything, and let's commit with a message first commit. So now I've committed all my my files here. So if I go back here, so this is actually, I don't know why it's not syncing in real time. I hope I will solve it because I kind of like it, but if I do this, I see now these check marks which are saying basically that everything is committed and it's up to date. So what about editing? What about writing actual code? So let's go to this file, so the index.js. So the first thing that you'll notice is that I have things like autocomplete. And this is because I have installed some plugins like language servers. Okay, so I have autocomplete, and let's write a function that, to do the power of numbers. So like n to the power of k. And by the way, I have these parentheses and brackets that goes always together as two. This is actually another plugin that you have to have. So we're taking it for granted when we're using IDE, when we have things like these brackets and parentheses, but in Neovim you actually have to like install all these plugins. But this is very nice. It feels like any other IDE. So let's do n to the power of k, n to the power of k minus 1. So let's uglify it a little bit. So I want to show you that I actually have Prettier installed here. So if I save this file, Prettier will make it nicer. So here you go. So I have this power of, and I also have ESLint here. So let's say I do something like this. So ESLint should pop up, and there you go. So it basically says to me that expression expected. So something is something is wrong here. So just remove it and remove this entire thing. Let's export it, see if the integrated terminal is working correctly. So module. So I think what's cool about Vim is some of the shortcuts and some of the things, the navigation and functionality that you have. So for example, let's say I did something like this. So to change it, and I've been using Vim for one day, for a single day, and I can tell I did like this 30 minutes tutorial thing, and I can say that I'm already starting to get more and more comfortable with the navigation. At first everything is really weird, but the more you get used to it, it actually makes a lot of sense. So for example, you can move between words like this, and let's say I want to move to this G, so I can move to the end of words like this, and say I want to replace it with the S. So I can do something like this. So I don't really need to highlight these the mistakes and use a bunch of things. I can actually replace some characters with a single button. So let's suppose also that I want to replace this K, for example, with X. I don't like this K, so I can actually use I can use it on a single line, and by doing so S for switch, I think, let's switch K with X and do it globally on this line. So everything will be X. And you also see like these pluses here. So these are from a plugin called Git Gutters. And these are exactly like the Git status that you'll have in most IDEs that you can, you see where you change things. So the pluses here are saying basically that I have some new lines here, and also in the tree you'll see like this star or sun, and this is saying that I have modified this this thing. And oh, by the way, this thing you can use the mouse as well. So everything, you can use the mouse with Neovim if you want. So it's kind of cool and kind of weird, when talking about terminals. So let's see if the integrated terminal is working. So let's go here, integrated terminal, and fire up Node, see that everything is working. So let's bring this function from index.js and see, so yeah. So 2 to the power of 2, or maybe like 3 to the power of like 12. So everything works correctly, which is really nice. And if let's commit these changes, so git. Okay, and so I don't know how to make it work, but it seems like the git status here, these pluses they taking quite long to actually change, and in the tree it's also taking quite long to change, to see like to update the status. In the tree, if I actually toggle it, I'll see the change right away if I do something like this. So I guess I can solve it because I've seen people that actually solved it. So I guess this is something that is solvable. And so my thought about it. So I'm actually very surprised that it's not that terrible. It's actually pretty good. It's pretty decent. And, all of the navigation is very fast. And once you get used to it, some of the things I'm still not used to, but some of the things here I'm getting used to more and more. And so I think what people really like about Neovim, besides its like navigation and functionality, all this good navigation and functionality, you can have some similar stuff in different IDEs. So some different IDEs have really great functionalities. So I think this is not like the main reason. I think the main reason is how clean and fast it is. So first of all, it's very fast. Everything is really fast. Like you open a directory, it's just like, so it's taking like very little memory from your system. So everything like snaps really fast. So even like the autocomplete and language servers, like everything is pretty fast. And I think another reason is like everything is really clean. So you can work on a file and be like super focused about it. So you can like get rid of this, and then just left with you and the file, and that's it. So I think it's like very clean. And so this is something that people really like about. And I think another reason that this is like so popular is I think it's due to the fact that it's kind of like raises some nostalgia in some people. So if you were born like in the 80s, 90s, or maybe before, working with terminals, feels like somewhat, nostalgic and very simple. It's like kind of like back to the roots. And if you're like a millennial and you were born like in the 2000s, and so maybe it just, it's like very exotic, to working with a terminal instead of working with a GUI app. So these are my thoughts about it, and I honestly, I like it. It's pretty cool. It's much cooler than I thought. I don't know if I'll keep using it as my main IDE. Maybe I'll switch, maybe I'll take like tiny steps until I switch over, and maybe not. Maybe I'll just, keep using VS Code, which is really good. And that's it. If you like this video, please subscribe for more. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.